Today's video is going to be a lot of fun. I have a live trade coming up in just a few minutes. But right now, let's talk about this on the screen, the gamification of day trading. Now, what exactly do I mean by that? Well, I'll tell you a little story. My wife and I have two grown sons now, but back when they were small and in school, they would come home and play video games 2 or 3 hours every afternoon. And they put a lot of time and energy into it. And after not 2 days, 2 weeks, but after months of learning and honing their skills, they became pretty good at it. And once in a while, just for fun, I would walk in the den and say, "Hey guys, how was school today?" And they would completely ignore me. And they were punching those controllers, and their thumbs were going up and down. So I would step between them and the TV and say, "Okay, buckaroos, how much are you making? How much money are you making from these video games?" They would say, "Get out of the way, Dad. Come on, you know that's silly. Video games don't pay any money." And I said, "Well, you two guys are consuming about $5 an hour worth of Diet Mountain Dew." I said, you're just losing money every day. It's time we talk about profit and loss statements. I mean, after all, you're in the 4th grade now." And then their mother would come in and rescue them. So today I talk to you about the gamification of day trading, and it can be a lot of fun, but I have to tell you, and this is my disclaimer and the honest truth right up front, this type of trading is risky. It's not for everybody. You get a leverage of 40, 50, 60, even 70 to 1. And the potential is there for immediate profits. I mean, like 10 milliseconds after the trade's over, the money's in your account and you can spend it. That is instant gratification at its finest. There are some similarities between this type of day trading and the casino games. And there's one big difference. The similarities are this. In blackjack, the odds of winning are about 49%. Craps, nearly 50%, but just under that. And roulette's odds of winning are also near 50%. The slots and the Big Six Wheel of Fortune, they're the house's game for sure, because the odds are drastically in the house's favor. But let's get back to that 50-50 chance for a moment. There are 2 ways to win in day trading. You buy low and sell high, or you short sale, which is selling high and buying low. In either case, you get to keep the difference. Now, when you play blackjack, craps, roulette, the odds are fixed for the house. There's nothing you can do about the odds to make them any better. However, in games like poker, you're playing against an opponent, and it does become somewhat a matter of skill, even though it still remains risky. Day trading is very similar to poker in that you do not have control over a great many things like why and what makes the market go up and down on the equity index prices. But you do have a choice about when to get into and exit trades, and that involves, like poker, an amount of skill that over time and practice can improve. There's a practically endless list of things that can affect stock equity index futures. Wars, government meetings, breaking news stories, assassinations, treaties, energy prices, the list goes on and on. And no matter how good you are, you'll never win more than 55 to 60% of your trades, and you'll wind up losing trades. That means not making any money at all or losing money about 40% of the time. Now, as in poker, a component that's always at large is luck. But we also can develop skills. And on the channel here, we have over 120 videos visited by more than 12,000 subscribers to help you learn to use trade signal indicators, different types of stop market orders, and ideas and tips to help you get the experience you'll need to try and make a go of it. It's exhilarating to be able to click a mouse and make money in almost 23 hours a day, 6 days a week. Okay, let's look at the trade of the week here. Have some fun, make a little money. This trade was on the 10th of March, 2022. And what I do on all the live trades here on the channel, when I feature them each week, is I start with a still frame. This is just a screenshot, not yet the live trade, which is coming up in just a moment. And I call this part of the video the setup because I explain to you why I took the trade at this particular time and my reasoning in choosing the trade. One of the things I do here on the channel to make learning to day trade the micros easier and more consistent is I use the same setup. Now, many beginners are under the impression that you should constantly experiment, jumping from one trade signal indicator to another and changing the timing of the candlesticks or whatever chart they're using. But it isn't true, and you'll see that I use this exact same setup in all 120 videos here on the channel. And that is 5-minute candlesticks. I have the MACD, the Moving Average Convergence Divergence Indicator, with the standard default 12.26.9 settings. It usually comes that way in your software. And I have the green and red lines down here in the MACD. Now, as a general rule, this is not so much a rule really, it's just a guideline. But what the MACD does, it measures the momentum, the strength, and the timing of price directional movement. And when the green and red lines, I'll put a red circle around this here, when the green and red lines are below that black zero line, and the green line is below the red line, it's in negative territory, and it signals that the current momentum of the price movement is going to be down. Now, naturally, if I think prices are going down, I'm going to short a contract. I definitely would not buy one. And we have at least 50-50 odds on the trade because it can only go up or down. And as I alluded to earlier in the video, we can take a 50-50 proposition and turn the odds a little bit in our favor by using these tools called the trade signal indicator. Now, most beginners, when they see this, they get really excited and feel like, wow, I've found a way, a license just to print my own money here. But I assure you, that is not true. You're going to lose 40% of your trades. We're just trying to get an edge here, something better than 50-50. And then once we get into a trade, our work really begins, because then, as I'm going to show you in a moment, we have to learn to manage the trade using stop loss orders and some other techniques, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Okay, here's the live trade screen right now, and fortunately this trade may not have any drawdown. We're already in the money here. We shorted 42.20.75 and we're trading 42.16 already. So I take my magic Tastyworks mouse there and bring that stop down. There's no reason to have it up there at 42.25, and I carefully bring that stop down. I'm recalibrating my screen now. And you can see I already reach up and get my Tastyworks click and drag again, and I'm bringing the stop down below where I entered the trade at. I'm clicking and dragging down to 42.18 and a half. I was a little undecided there for a moment before I let go of that left mouse button, but I landed at a good place. So now I have a free trade. Now, no trade is really free, but what I mean is I've moved my stop loss down, and now the worst thing can happen to me on this trade is I'll make $11.25. So no way a penny is even coming out of my account because of this trade. Okay, I zipped up about 30 seconds. I recalibrated my screen. I get the Tastyworks mouse out, and I move my stop now. I take it and click and drag that thing down to 42.16.75. That's going to lock me in $20 on the trade, and we're about 3 minutes old. The trade had its 3-minute birthday just a few seconds ago. You can not only click and drag the stop up and down, but you can see on the screen now I'm bringing my target price up from 24.07.5 to 24.12. And I'm $37.50 of unrealized gains on this trade, but I get my Tastyworks mouse. I'm going to pull it down, try to lock in some more profits, and I move my stop down this time to 42.14.75. And as you will see right here, I get stopped out almost immediately. Not a bad thing in this case. Okay, that was a a fun trade. You know, I got an email from a fellow the other day, and he'd corresponded with me on email a few times before, and I knew that he'd been practice trading for 3 or 4 weeks. And he said, so he wrote me the email. I think it was on a Friday afternoon. He said, hey, I got off work early today. I came home, and I went from practice trading to the real thing. He said, I had 3 trades. I lost a little money on the first 2, but I wound up making $65 in about 15 minutes. And he says, it was so exhilarating. And it is. It's that's why I give it the casino comparison. You know, it's always fun to win not free money, but unexpected profits. And this type of trading is very risky. And of course, I keep saying it over and over again. It takes a lot of practice. There's a huge false narrative. If you're beginning, whether you're the first time you've seen this or you've been trading for a while and you try to give the Micro Eminis a try, let me tell you something. There's a huge false narrative that most beginners believe about this kind of trading. You just saw it looks terribly easy, but I promise you it isn't. It takes time. You have to earn that ability to make money by putting some effort into it and practice trading for a while, hopefully, and then you can jump in and try to make the real bucks on there. Now, $30 is not going to change anybody's lifestyle, certainly. But the thing about it is, this is a whole new category of kind of investing. The Micro Eminis didn't come around until about a couple of years ago. Before they came around, they're the scaled down 1/10 size contracts. We call it affordable trading because you can actually afford to learn. Can you imagine trying to trade at $20 or $50 a point and going up and down hundreds of dollars in 5 minutes of trading, and then trying to keep your wits about you and contain the adrenaline and to be able to learn? Well, it was almost impossible. And the failure rate used to be 90%. I don't know what it is now for sure, but I know the failure rate is still pretty high. At least probably, I'm guessing now, half the people that hear my voice right now, if you're just beginning, half of you are probably going to blow up your account first thing. It's all because of this false narrative. The false narrative is that you jump in and start trading like a crazy man on a roulette wheel. And the thing about it is, you don't trade 5, 10, 15, 20 times a day. You start off small, trade a couple of times a day. Use 1 or 2% of your account that you could risk on those trades. This is after you've practiced trading, because there's a lot to learn. You have to get used to the software, you have to get used to the terms, you have to figure out what time of day you're going to trade and learn something about the different times of day in trading. We have some videos here on the channel that go into some of that. I think they're labeled Globex trading, which is what we call the after hours trading. Anyway, it was fun today, and I'm glad you were here. Do me a favor and hit the like button if you want to see another video like the one you saw today. I count up the likes, and that helps me determine what to make and put into the new videos that are each week. You can subscribe and hit that little bell when you subscribe, and you'll get a text or an email each time about once a week when I put up the new trades on the channel. Check out my book. It's really expensive, and it's the price of a 2-topping large pizza, maybe. And my hope is it has a lot of good advice in it, and it gets you, well, what the book mainly does. All the information's out there, and one can argue you could get it free. But what it does is organize it for you. I mean, when you're just starting and you don't know what's important and what isn't, and which terms you must learn and which terms are nice to know, but you don't really have to learn them to get started. You can do that by reading my book, and I really want to thank the thousands of people that have read it. It has over 300 5-star reviews on Amazon right now, so check out the book link below. And one of my favorite things is this trading software I use, Tastyworks. It has that see it, click it, trade it, where you can get everything on one screen. And when you're learning, that's a tremendous advantage, in my opinion. And that's why I recommend Tastyworks. There's some links below the video on that too. I'm Don Singletary. Great fun today. Thank you for being here. I hope every day is a payday for you.